Kia ora all, and welcome back to another Fast Track Your Funding episode. Thank you very much for your time. I know it's a busy time of the day, but I appreciate everyone coming on board to learn about this Outclass product that we're going to present today, and going to talk around the funding aspects for obtaining an Outclass outdoor learning environment. Today on the call, I have Kurt Woodman, who's the founder of Outclass, and he's going to talk to you about kind of the backstory, where it came from, where the idea came from, and also all about the product and some of the options available. And also got Jenny Giblin from Funding HQ, who, if you've joined our other episodes, you would know Jenny well. She's our experienced professional when it comes to all things funding. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Kurt Woodman, who's going to start the backstory as to Outclass, where it came from, and hopefully we can, by the end of this, know more about how to get Outclass into your school, what the options are, and also the best ways about the funding aspects for this. So, Kurt, over to you.
Kia ora, and thanks, Heinz. Welcome all. Thanks for joining today. My name's Kurt, and basically I'm dealing with schools over the last 15 plus years in the furniture side of the industry. Come up with a lot of queries around outdoor learning environments. We do some outdoor play equipment and furniture for the early years sector, but in the schools sector we do get a lot of inquiries regarding the lack of products for outdoor learning environments. And as we know, a lot of schools are trying to encourage this type of learning, getting out into the open air. So we've come up with a bit of an innovation, and actually thought it up on overseas trip I was on, and the hours that you spend travelling, often good way of coming up with new ideas. But it came up with a little concept that we could create a specifically designed outdoor learning hub. Obviously, most schools have got a space in their outdoor learning areas where they would like to try and utilise it better. But coming up with something that is a centralised hub where you can store all your furniture and equipment. And the idea of this is that it creates that nice safe space for children to go to, somewhere to relax and learn, somewhere where you can keep all your equipment. The idea with the large wide open doors at the front is that you can open up the doors, spread your equipment out, put the bean bags out, and no matter what aspect of learning that you're trying to achieve, it just becomes that really unique space where the children can go to. So obviously every school's got different needs, but we send a survey out to all schools in New Zealand, and we're inundated with inquiries regarding this, which really, one principal said, we've hit a raw nerve in the schooling industry at the moment, which is sort of good to hear, because we love coming up with solutions, but what we want to try and do now is turn that into reality. And working with the Ministry of Education regarding this, it's really hard to get specific answers from them as to what bracket this needs to be put into. But we have had it confirmed that if it's going to be used as an actual teaching space, we need to make sure it's fully regulated and code of compliance, etc., for a teaching space, which means for the size of it would be more like a breakout space that you could use for learning. That would really mean that it's designed then that you could house students inside with the doors closed, meaning that it would then need air conditioning, airflow, quality control, and etc., as well as ramping, balustrades, fire alarm systems, and so on, which was a little bit more than what we set out to try and achieve, because the whole idea is that we're trying to get children outside and students outside. So we've now broken into two different sectors. We've got one base version, which is the Outclass Sanctuary, which has to be designed specifically for storage for this equipment. Then it comes under the bracket of a storage facility versus an actual teaching space. And that unit won't need the same MOE regulations for a teaching space, so to speak, because the whole idea is that the doors are open, no need for air conditioning, no need for all those other regulations. And you would just move your furniture out into the outdoor learning environment, set out your outdoor classrooms, and pack it away at the end of the session or the end of the day. There's then those that do want to use it for an actual breakout space, somewhere to take students for one-on-one teaching and so on. We can have that ability to go through those other aspects and make sure they're included. It's not impossible. The first unit that we're creating they are only 6 meters by 3 meters, so they fit nicely on the back of any truck, and they can be easily swing lifted into place. So the usability and the access is all very easy. It's not a hard process to go through. We've had a lot of inquiries regarding what these units cost. So just to give you an idea, ballpark figure, around between 50 and 60,000 for the base unit, including the decking and so on. There's quite a few variances that we can do with these, obviously with the side storage and the ramp for loose parts, external storage, umbrellas, bean bags on that sort of thing on the outside, as well as just a basic unit which has just got wide open doors at the front, no outside storage, and obviously all come with the decking and the shade awning, so on. So the delivery, obviously that is different for every school, so we encourage you to get in touch with us and we can send you what's required for your school, which normally requires a site visit, have a little look at where you want to put it, and then we can send you a little proposal around there. A fully kitted out and regulated teaching space, so to speak, is more around the 90 to 110,000, depending on what's required for your school for access. The units often then have to be more like 500 off the ground versus just nice and flat on the ground like we've got on there. It's a few more things to work through, including inclusive ramping and access and that sort of thing as well, which can be easily achieved. It just needs to be a bit more process to go through. The second part of the unit that we've been working on, obviously, is we really wanted to come up with a way that schools could very easily achieve these. My idea around a funding proposal that we have put together for the schools would mean that the first 2 schools that we're working with, we worked with the principal to come up with an initial contribution, which is around $25,000 that the school can contribute to this unit through their own funding means. And then we've created a sponsorship proposal that they can then take out to companies and businesses or individuals maybe that have associations with the school. And Jenny will speak more as to that later on in this call. And the idea with this proposal that we've created is to provide schools with a completely packaged unit ready to go that can be then presented to companies and individuals. And if we can just go to the next slide, I'll run you through the idea. Now, this is just a concept idea at this stage, obviously. We're working through our first trial of this now with a few schools. But the idea of this sample is that there'd be, for instance, one gold sponsor, so a gold sponsor sponsoring $10,000 towards this unit. That would be in a period of 5 years, and that would give them naming rights to the Outclass. They would obviously have their name on the outside on the sponsorship banner, and then be referred to in any online social media posts and so on. Moving through to the silver, if we find 2 silver sponsors for $5,000 each, they would also get their names on the actual board. However, they would then get the online social media referrals and so on. Any posts that are done with the children using these, it gives them that return on investment. And then for the bronze, it just give that next stage down, $2,500. If they could find 4 sponsors to donate $2,500 towards this unit, obviously giving them recognition too, and mentions, but just provides them with those classes of sponsorship, which they might find one that meets their budgets there. We've also put in a furniture option too, because obviously, depending on what this is going to be used for, we've come up with furniture packages for them. And so there's a possibility that a company out there might like to sponsor the furniture package for one of these units, just making it nice and easy, and we can give information on those packages. Being in business myself, we do have a lot of people coming to us for funding and that sort of thing, and often a business doesn't mind giving, but if we know where it's going and if we can see a clear return on investment, we're a lot more happy to give and be part of something great in a community. And schools have told us ourselves that they can think of straight away some families or companies that are associated with a school that they would like to send this to, because they believe that this is the sort of thing that they'd love to get involved with. So as you can see, if coming up with a very simple package like this with a school contribution, it's very achievable to get one of these on your school site, which is super exciting, especially with how difficult it is to get more teaching spaces out there. A lot of schools, as we know, are waiting for new classrooms and so on. Maybe this might give a little bit of relief in utilising our beautiful outdoors, a classroom without walls, rather than waiting for a classroom with walls that might not ever come, as we know. So over to you, Jenny. Thank you very much for all your time, and we will be back in touch after this call, following up everyone that's joined with further information, and we look forward to working with you further on this. Thank you very much, Jenny.
Thanks, Kurt, and look, kia ora, everybody. I think this might be webinar number 6 that I've done in conjunction with Learning Spaces Global. So for those of you who have been hanging in there, thank you so much. It is always a real pleasure to be able to come and share some funding insights, and also just to sort of say, I really value the relationship I have with Learning Spaces Global, and I think their initiative to go out and sort of help build fundraising capability in schools is absolutely fantastic, and their give back is really great. So just wanted to sort of acknowledge that at the beginning. Also want to acknowledge that, I know that we are in a really difficult financial time at the moment, and probably I would imagine in most schools you're hearing stories about families that are struggling with ongoing living costs, and businesses are feeling that things are really tight. So acknowledging that up front, but sort of coming in and sort of saying underneath all of that, and while those issues are absolutely real, and I'm hearing them too, and I'm seeing them as well. The interesting thing from a sponsorship fundraising perspective is that when you have a good offer, businesses are still keen to partner, and people are often still keen, if they can, to contribute. So I just sort of wanted to start off by saying that it might feel really counterintuitive to be going out and asking businesses for money, or counterintuitive to be reaching out to certain to individuals, families, etc. It might feel a bit weird, but actually, I've been fundraising for 21 years, and money still continues to circulate around. And I think this outclassed option is a really good option. That's something that's reasonable, it's very tangible, and it's also something that's going to add a whole lot of value into your school community. So from a funding perspective, often funders really struggle, and you've probably experienced this, often really struggle to fund, kind of ongoing operational expenses. It's a bit harder, but for something really tangible like Outclassed, it's a slightly different approach. So I was keen to sort of talk to you about that today. So one of the first things I wanted to say is this is what I would call a capital campaign. And so a part of doing your capital campaign, I guess like any form of fundraising, it's really important that you tell the story about why purchasing or having an outclassed building in your school is going to make a difference. So this is where it's really important. We've talked about this in other webinars we've done, really important to make sure you get your story right. So in part of getting your story right, what you want to be talking to either a business about, or a gaming trust, or a community trust, or going out to individuals, you're talking about what is going to be the impact of having an outclassed building on your school property. So what is the difference it's going to make to children? What are the differences that it's going to make to their whole education experience? What is it going to enable you as a school to do to be able to make sure that you're supporting a diverse range of students in your school? And I think in terms of getting that story right and framing this in terms of impact and transformation that you can deliver back to your school. I really encourage you to sort of, if you're getting a bit stuck on that, make sure that you sort of lean back into Kurt and Heinz and the team at Learning Spaces Global, because if you're struggling sort of for words or how to sort of articulate the importance and why Outclass is important, they'll probably have some good keywords and some good information around why this particular option product is going to be really good for your school. So getting that right at the beginning. And so when you're doing applications for this, or you're doing approaches into businesses, make sure you focus directly on Outclass rather than thinking about spending too much time talking all about the school and everything else that's going on. So keep it really succinct. This is a great product, and making sure that you're saying really clearly, by having this product in the school, we are going to, and this is going to enable us to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And you probably only need 2 or 3 key points around the impact of it. So make sure you cover that off. How are you going to use it? How is it going to change the way you deliver your education and your learning in the school? So making sure you're talking about impact, transformation, and how you're going to use it is really important. The second thing to think about for a capital raise like this is making sure that you go to a diverse range of funders. And what Kurt has put together is absolutely fantastic. I would really encourage you to take this sort of case study, or take this example and make it your own. But when you're looking at it, another thing that you might want to think about is, where is your school located? And for some schools, it's probably entirely possible that you can use this template, and you might and make it your own, and you can go directly out to businesses and to people. For other schools, where if they're geographically located in places where there's not a big sort of corporate sector or business sector, make sure you're thinking and including in your plan to purchase an Outclass. Think about where else can you go to for funding as well. So here's where it's a really good opportunity to get funding from a gaming trust. Gaming trusts love to fund things. They love to fund products. This is something tangible that they can see. They can see what it's going to deliver. So this is an ideal product to apply to a gaming trust for. I wouldn't apply to a gaming trust for the entire amount of this. I would put the gaming trust into part of your funding plan for this purchase. So think about the gaming trusts that are available. Think also about some of the community trusts, the community trusts that are available in your community. So whether you've got Eastern and Central Community Trust, whether you've got the Otago Community Trust, Rata Foundation, Foundation North, they're the sort of places that it's worthwhile having a conversation with them about Outclass, what you're trying to do, the impact it's going to have for your students, and talking to them about whether or not this is something that they are likely to fund. So really encouraging you here to think broadly around where you might go to for funding. And what I would say is, if you're based, in rural provincial New Zealand, the split might look like that you. So if you were putting it into percentage, you might try and get 33% of the funding from your gaming trust sector. You might try and get 33% from going to a community trust, and the remaining 33% may come from the business/family sector. Now, look, that will depend on where you are located and what your funding options are. So this is not hard and fast. It's just to give you a bit of an idea about how you might choose to split that out. If you're based in a big metro centre, then you may be able to go in, and you've got a reasonably big school role, you may be able to go directly out to businesses and into your community. So thinking about your approach out to businesses, it's really important here that you think about, and we're thinking about what businesses you might approach. Think carefully around brand alignment. So what are the businesses in your community, in your where you're based, that would really benefit from having a brand association with your school? So if you're thinking about places like your local Mitre 10, your local supermarket, Bunnings, it could be that it's a car yard, I don't know, whatever that you've got, whatever the business community is looking like in your area. How useful would it be for them to have their brand in your school associated with a product like this? And so what it's going to do if they come on board, particularly if they're coming on board in a large way in terms of taking either gold, silver or bronze package, this is an opportunity for them brand alignment, for them to be able to be seen to be doing some really good stuff in terms of social responsibility back into the community, and its exposure for them. So this is a really compelling opportunity for a business to come on board and support your school. And as Kurt has kind of as alluded to in his discussion, it's also about how you look after them. So yes, they may well get naming rights on your Outclass product that you're going to have in your school property, but also it's about what else are you going to do. Is there an opportunity? Obviously you'll do kind of a big reveal, and you might welcome everybody on board and officially open up and bless this product. But then what else can you do to enable those particular businesses to be able to have access or share their brand across your school community? So things like being mentioned on your newsletter, being mentioned in your on your website, making it that they're across some of the school social media, if that's something that you're doing within your school, giving them an opportunity that they may want to come in and talk for sort of 5-10 minutes at your at your school assembly from time to time, or they might want to hand out school prizes, or they might want to be there for your cross-country event and be able to sort of say to the parents, hey, it's fantastic to have a relationship with your school, we're really proud to be partnering with you, and you might give them an opportunity to hand out some awards and prizes. So it's thinking of ways you can get the businesses to get into your school in a very genuine way, and activate a partnership that they may have with your school. So when you're thinking about that, and you're thinking about opening your door and sharing a brand alignment with the business, it's really important that you think about the businesses that you feel comfortable with. So the businesses that are going to align in terms of values with the purpose of your school, with your own school values. So you're thinking really carefully around, where are some good businesses that that they operate really well, they look after their staff, they do things really well in the community. They're the sort of businesses that might want to come on board. You may also want to think about, are there businesses that have a connection to your school? Do they provide services into your school? Do they have a family connection? Have they got their children there? Are they past alumni? Are they, have attended the school themselves? Are they within the geographical neighbourhood of the location of your school? So take the time to get that alignment right. So you're looking at alignment around values. You're looking at a alignment around purpose. Are they a business that actually also believes in being able to, improve education for schools and improve educational outcomes for a diverse range of people? Think about those sort of things. And, do they have some sort of personal connection or association with your school? So they're the 3 alignment areas you need to consider. Equally, when you're going out to individuals or family members, you may find that there are family members that might want to or past students that may want to come on as a bronze sponsor. So they may want to make a contribution as a bronze sponsor. They need to be recognised on site. So think about some, past pupils of the school that may want to give back because they had a great experience when they were at the school. So I guess to kind of wrap up, it's really important to make sure you've got a diverse range of funders, particularly if you are living in rural provincial. Make sure you get your story right, so you're really clear on the impact that having this particular product, this Outclass product, is going to make to your school. And I think you've got lots of information you can glean from Heinz and Kurt in the space. Get your story right, be really succinct in telling your story around this. Make sure you take the time, whether it's within your school committee or your board, that you sit down and think strategically around what partnerships might look like, how you're going to look after them, who you're going to go to. And then the next part is really, once you get them on board, make sure you onboard them properly. Make sure if you say you're going to do something and you're going to acknowledge these particular businesses and people in a certain way, that you do that. And a really good check-in at the very beginning is to sort of sit down and say to them, hey, look, what's going to work for you? What are you looking for in terms of the partnership? And see whether or not as a school you can help deliver that. So being really clear on expectations at the beginning and making sure you're reporting on them each year to keep your donors happy. I know at the moment, when it's highly competitive, about people out there looking for funding, the donors that stay sticky are the donors that are really well looked after in a very genuine way. And I think you've got lots of opportunities to do that in the school environment, even down to simple things with children writing, some of the students writing thank you letters, and bringing the donor into the school and making them feel very much part of your school community. So lots of things that you can do there. So I hope that that's helped in a way. Get your story right, make sure you diversify, think about gaming trusts, think about community trusts, and then think about businesses and individuals, families that you may be able to reach out to. I look at this Outclass product and think to myself, this is something that is really tangible and could easily be funded if you just go through that key process.
That's
So
brilliant. That's brilliant, Jenny. I think I support the whole idea around looking after your donors and making sure that there's some reciprocal advantages for them as well. There's nothing like going to a school that you may have supported and seeing your logo, your business logo on the side of something, whether it's netball courts or whether it's on the side of, say, this building. It gives you that tangible sort of reminder that you've put your money where your mouth is and where your heart is, even in this case, and you're helping neurodiverse needs at a school. I think it's very tangible. And I just wanted to say now, do you want to talk about the fact that you've got a product that you can also offer to help schools on an ongoing basis with funding through the Funded program?
Thanks, Heinz. Yes, look, I won't take up people's time too much, but I just wanted to let everyone know that I am launching Funded. It will be available from the 1st of September. It has taken me a little bit longer to pull it together than I imagined. I've got quite a bit of content on there, so I'm just sort of refining the content at the moment. It is access to a platform, including a database of all funds that are available in New Zealand that can be sorted by sector, by region. So whether you're looking for funds to support sports within your school, whether you're looking for funds to support any sort of social service activities that might be happening in your school or in the art space. Also, it covers off everything from how to sort of help you tell your story, developing your compelling case in a step-by-step process, making sure you've got a diverse range of funders, how to front up and ask for money, everything to an introductory email, how you pitch in when you're going from having a meeting with a particular funder. So that's all covered off. It's full of case studies, video content. It's really easy to use, and it's been specifically designed for schools. So that's coming out on the 2nd of September.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Jenny, because and I highly recommend that from a point of view that the feedback that we've got and kind of where this whole idea of offering free advice for funding to the industry is because schools are they are short on resource, they are time poor. It's a bane of most principals' existence is to worry about funding and have applied resource to how to get funding. And I think this is an excellent way that you can maybe invest a little bit into professional help on funding, and you'll end up with obtaining things for your school that you never thought was possible before. So that comes highly recommended. I'm not too sure if you or Kurt's got anything more to say, but we will be following you up. And if you've got any questions, please do reach out. We're very happy to help, and we can help each school individually through their different needs and challenges that they may have to get an Outclass on site. It's very exciting. Kurt, have you got anything more to say?
No, that's very good. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. Really happy to have you on board, and we'll be back in touch after this with everyone on this call. The templates are available for us to manipulate specifically for your school, and we can help give you that template and work with you through that. So any other questions straight after, just get in touch with the sales@lsg.co.nz team on email or give us a call. More than happy to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining, and have a great rest of your day.